Welcome everyone to Biz with Blad. Today I have a very special episode with my good friend and client, Ryan Ludwig, the CEO and founder of Rebel Hive Meadery, a very special company right here from Reading, Pennsylvania that specializes in creating this great drink called mead. Mead is a drink that's derived from honey, and I didn't know what mead was until I met Ryan. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome. Thank you so much for all the wonderful work that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started? What made you get into this amazing world of creating wonderful mead? Tell us a little bit about yourself. And I want everybody to know that Ryan is a chemical engineer. This is a very smart guy. And how did you get started with this?
Well, thank you for having me, Blad. So my background is in chemistry, as you said. I went to college. I thought I was going to be teaching, so I ended up going to grad school for chemistry. And while I was in grad school, I started brewing beer as a hobby, and that introduced me to mead. So one of the guys in the homebrew club started making mead. I never heard of it at the time, so I started making it myself and ended up falling in love with it. And so after grad school, I ended up getting my doctorate in physical chemistry. And after grad school, I taught for a couple years while getting the company off the ground. And eventually, in 2019, we were fully licensed and opened and started doing sales.
I remember that. I remember that when I first met you, you were just starting out. I met you at a local event at Dr. Bill's office.
Yes.
And I had mead for the first time. This is when I found out what mead was. Tell us a little bit about the origin of mead, and then tell us what we have here, because we're gonna cover a lot of ground. We're gonna taste some of the amazing products that you make, some of the new ones that are kind of new to the market, and we're gonna go and talk a little bit about each one of them. But tell us a little about the origin of mead, how does mead, where does it come from, and you know, all that great stuff that you shared with me before.
Absolutely. So mead has a great origin. We believe it's the oldest alcohol beverage in human history. Humans have been eating honey for hundreds of thousands of years. It was one of the early food sources for our ancestors. Archaeological evidence puts it somewhere around 7000 BC, so it predates beer and wine, and it's essentially an alcohol made from honey. So at some point, people started mixing water with the honey that they were gathering, and it ended up fermenting spontaneously. They started drinking it, loved what they had, and over time it just evolved into a drink that we know now. So we know that its origins are come from China and Africa, and then as well as parts of India. It's believed that it was discovered independently in different countries around the world. And then by the time we get to the Vikings around 1000 AD, they just spread it all over the place. So it's the oldest alcoholic beverage that we know of. It kind of died out over the years, and now it's making a big comeback following, you know, all the craft beer movement that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of people who don't know what mead is, and the wide range of different types of liquors that can be derived from it. Like, I mean, now I'm on to mead because I'm involved with your company, and after working with you, both in getting you working capital and also becoming a friend, now I get to taste all the mead, and now I'm in some places I even ask for it, but a lot of people don't even know what it is. I feel like there's still a lot of education that has to take place in order, for people to create more awareness.
Yeah,
so what do we have here today? Tell us a little bit about it. And I've had it before, but
yes.
I just want I want to walk you through the presenting it, because I just drink it.
Yeah. So the first one that we have today, this is called a traditional mead. Traditional mead's not spiced with anything else, so the honey really comes through. Depending on what type of honey we use, really changes the characteristics and the taste of the mead. So this one's traditional, made with an orange blossom honey. So the orange blossom is going to really come through in the finished product.
Yeah, let's open one up and let's see how much of these we can take today. You've gotten really good at opening these things, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Opened a couple bottles already.
Now, these, you can drink it at room temperature. Cheers, my brother.
Cheers.
At room temperature or just chilled? What do you recommend?
So this one I like chilled. Most of these drink like a wine. This one's going to drink closer to like a white wine, so it should be slightly chilled. You'll get some of the nice floral and citrus notes from the orange blossom honey coming through. This is semi-sweet, so I do leave a little bit of residual honey in there, so you still get that nice honey flavor to it.
Yeah, definitely semi-sweet. I can taste the citrus. I am not a sommelier, but I do drink like one. So yeah, this is good. And I'm not gonna be able to describe the taste because this is not what I do. Ryan can do a better job, or better yet, just find one at your local supermarket. What places do we have right now that we can mention that people can find some of the drinks that we have?
Sure. So if you wanted to sample, we are set up at 5 different farmers markets. So we're at Hershey Market, Roots Market, Green Dragon, Lancaster Central Market.
Farmers Market.
Yeah.
You blanked out a little bit.
I did. I blanked out. All right,
well, we just started.
I know. All right. So we're at, let's see, Hershey, Roots, Green Dragon, Central Market, and at any of our market stands, you can try our meads for free. We have free samples there, and whatever offerings we have. You can also find us in a lot of the local Weiss, Giants, and all Wegmans in Pennsylvania right now. We're also in Coca-Cola Stadium out in the Lehigh Valley as well.
And guys, this not because Ryan is my client and my friend. This stuff is really, really good. You'll be surprised the wide range of tastes, and we're gonna go through some of them. Some of them are semi-sweet, some of them are dry, and we have. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. We have different types of products coming in here, but this stuff is really, really good. And part of what's the vision? What does Rebel Hive want to accomplish? Because I've been there from the very beginning. I've seen the company evolve from the time that you didn't even have the place open, when you just opened, and then cover head and all of that stuff. So I've been part of the whole journey that you have. What's next? Why don't you tell people where we're going with Rebel Hive Meadery?
Yeah, so our mission has always been to make mead an dominant alcohol product worldwide. At one point, it ruled all the alcohols that were out there, and then it ended up dying out, so we're bringing it back again. It's naturally gluten-free. The taste is phenomenal, especially when you start mixing in fruits and spices to it. It goes well with any type of food pairing, any day you just want to drink. So we see it kind of bridging the gap between wine and beer drinkers. We find it huge with the millennial and Gen Z generation right now, who's looking for something different. It's much more approachable, we think, than wine is. It's less filling and easier to drink than beer. So we find it as this kind of catch-all category that, anyone who likes a drink, this is your stuff.
It's easy to get hooked on this stuff, guys, because of how good it is, and again, how diverse the different types of liquor that you can make out of it. And I'm blown away that, again, you're gonna see some of the stuff, and once Ryan describes it, you're gonna see how wide the range can be. Obviously, you're only gonna get to taste it when you taste it. But if you're ever here in the building, we have some of this stuff. Always have some meat here. We probably carry the whole rainbow here. Ryan, what's next? What do we have coming up here? And I wanted to ask you, why mead? Why should we choose mead?
Why choose mead? Mead, like I said, I think mead is the most versatile drink out there. Depending on what types of honey you use in it, it pairs well with any type of fruits or spices, goes well with any type of dinner that you might have, pairs better than any type of wines do, any beers do. It fits this category that hasn't been around for quite a few years now. So I find it as the most versatile drink out there, and we've only started to begin experimenting with it. You can age it in different oak barrels. You can mix it in different cocktails. You can drink it straight. Typically, you drink it straight like we're doing, like you would a wine. But we've made tons of cocktails with it that get awesome. We've done all sorts of cooking with it. It's really the most versatile drink that there is.
Well, that's some of the stuff that I'm only learning from you as I become more familiar with the products, the different things that you can do with it. What do we have next coming up on the lineup? I think we have what you tell us.
Yeah.
You know the lineup?
Yeah, next one up is Respect Your Elders.
All right, let's bring Respect Your Elders right here, right now, real quick. I think we're gonna have to put these glasses and get a couple more different ones. I forgot to ask you what alcohol percentage did It's Not You, It's Me have?
That one was 12%.
I couldn't tell, but I know it's pretty
12%.
Pretty,
Yeah.
feels pretty young.
Yeah, most of these that we have today are going to be 12.
12%. Okay. All right, here we have it. Respect your elders.
Respect your elders.
I've had it before, honestly, but I don't think I've had it enough. I don't remember what it tastes like. It'll bring me the memory once we have some.
So this one's one of our best sellers. This one we have year round. It's made with elderberries. It's a, cheers?
Cheers. Yeah, I remember.
It's a fruit that grows wild, especially in Pennsylvania. You can find it all over the place. We use dried elderberries in this to create this. Again, it's an orange blossom honey backbone to it. Elderberry is a very earthy, jammy type of berry. So you'll get that in the mouthfeel, sorry. So this one drinks much closer to like a red wine. Again, semi-sweet, since that's
12% alcohol also on this one.
Again,
Yeah,
yes.
it feels quite, other than the different taste. Again, me not being sommelier or the connoisseur, but I've had my runs with drinks. But the alcohol content feels the same. Mm-hmm. But it's a whole different taste altogether.
Yes, so this one's 12%. This goes really well with any type of lamb dishes or any type of like heavier meats like that. It goes really well with those.
So tell us a couple of the meats that we have with mead. What are the common myths that people think about mead? What those who know, I haven't found many people who know what mead is.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. So taking a step back, luckily the market's changing a lot. So we got started in 2019. Back then, not many people knew what mead was at all. We would say mead, they thought we were making meat, and we're like, no, we're not putting meat in a bottle. I didn't even know how to spell it at first when I heard it. But now, 6 years later now, most people know what mead is. There's been a lot of shows, a lot of Netflix series and things that are representing it. Actually, one of the oldest books on record, Beowulf, if you're familiar with that. Yeah. So the whole book took place in a mead hall, which most people don't realize. So the great mead hall there.
I remember that scene. That was a mead hall. Okay.
Yes. So anyway, when we serve this to people, they typically have 5 different myths that they think mead is going to be. So we're always putting these out. So the first is that it's going to be sweet. And what's interesting about honey is that it's a very simple sugar. So it's a combination of glucose and fructose. Those are very basic sugars that when we add yeast to it, yeast can completely ferment those dry. So mead tends to go dry. So if we want honey to stay in the finished product, we have to take steps to actually make it be in the finished product. So one way to do that is we could add so much honey up front that the yeast doesn't actually eat through it all. So there's some residual honey there. The other way that we like to do it, and the way that we typically do it at Rebel Hive, we stop fermentation at the point where we like the sugar levels to be. So I do a process called cold crashing.
So is that how you determine how sweet you're gonna make it, when you stop the fermentation at a certain point?
Yes.
So if he hasn't eaten enough sugar, it'll be more sweet.
Exactly.
It'll be sweeter. That's how it is. I mean, I learn a lot every time I tour the facility. This is all kind of new to me. It's just fascinating. Just the whole process, but every time I talk to you about it, you actually break it down for me how it works.
Yeah. So depending on how much honey we start with. So when we start, we're taking honey, mixing it with water, and that determines the starting sugar content. And then I add yeast to that and some nutrients and let that ferment. So depending on how much sugar we start with, the yeast is going to eat that, and it converts it primarily to carbon dioxide and alcohol. And then it also puts out a lot of other different side chemicals as well. But those are the 2 main ones that we're shooting for. So what we usually do is stop the process when it gets to the sugar levels that I like it at. I just basically drop the temperature really low, somewhere between the 30 degrees down to 0 degrees even. And that makes all the yeast basically go dormant, so they can't eat anymore. And we're stuck with whatever sugar's in there is what's left over. And then there's a third way to do it, which is called back sweetening. So in that process, we can ferment completely dry, and then you add honey back into the finished product.
And by dry, you mean no water at all?
Yeah, it'll go, by dry, I mean no sugar.
No sugar, okay.
Yeah, so no sugar left over. You're left with, the alcohol that's there.
You let the yeast eat all the sugar.
Yes.
And so it'll have 0 sugar, and then you add the sugar later.
Yeah, then you can add it back in.
Okay.
Typically, we don't do that. I think that creates too much of a raw product, and it's a bit unrefined, for lack of a better word. We'll have one mead later today that we do that, because I like that huge honey taste in your face.
I don't know. I've got a lot to go through, man.
do.
Let's drink slow. This is really a tasting, but this stuff is so good. I think
Thanks.
you're serving us too much. Cheers, and thanks for always dropping the knowledge about how these things work and how they, I always learn a little bit more about the process of making this stuff, and I enjoy it even more once I know how it's made.
Yeah.
What do we have coming up next? I mean, we're barely done with this, but
You want another one?
Well, no. What do we have coming up next? What's on the lineup now?
All right, next one would be Cherry Lee Lewis.
Have I tasted that one too? Do we have the one that has the peanut butter on it too?
No, that's not out this year. We don't have that out yet this year.
So tell us a little bit about some of those seasonal ones that you make and some of the ones that are all year round. I don't know if we're gonna cover that later on down the line, but while we have these, we can probably talk a little bit about how often you create some of these products. For example, this one, is this all year round?
Yeah, so our first 3 that we have today, so it's Not You, It's Mead, the Respect Your Elders, and then the Cherry Lee Lewis. Those 3 we do year round. Those are the ones that we really push at bars and restaurants and wholesale accounts, and those you can get all the time. Then we do monthly releases as well, and these are all different fruits, spices, things that we do for that time of year. We also have quarterly ones that we release once a year. Those are on the sweeter end. We tend to do those. And then we also come out with like specialty ones all the time as well. So it might be a different type of honey that we use. It might be completely dry. It might be barrel aged. We've done a couple in bourbon barrels that have gotten awesome. So we're always trying to come up with new flavors and test new products on the market.
Yeah, you surprised me the other day. I think we're gonna get to that when we talk about one of my favorite products that you have. And I want to really ask you, how do you come up with these inventions? You're over here messing with the chemistry and coming up with all kinds of interesting products. And I mean, I want to know what that process is like. Like, what are you looking for? What are you solving for? Are you just mixing stuff and then seeing how it tastes? And
so I love food and drinks. So if it goes well in food or goes well in cocktails, it goes well in mead. I almost think of mead as a pre-made cocktail. Those pre-made cocktails are big now. That's essentially what we have here. So anything that goes well with honey and alcohol is going to go really well in the drink. But yeah, I do all sorts of experiments ahead of time. So I'll make batches and test all sorts of different fruits and flavors and see what the right levels are before we go to market. And then lots of samples as well.
That is really interesting, because it's almost like a form of art. It's a different type of art.
Yeah.
There are different types of arts. You can exercise your artistic talents through drawing, music, singing, and mixing drinks. It's almost like a creation every single time.
And I like to think of it as a really good balance between art and science. So you're constantly putting a lot of science into it, but you're also balancing that with the art side as well, even down to our labels that we get local artists to design for us.
Excellent. Well, let's bring our next drink. If you want to get through this real quick, I feel like we're gonna be drunk right by the time we're done. And you said it to me, it's like, Blad, I'm gonna bring the whole rainbow. We're gonna be doing a little bit of tasting, but I feel like one of each of these is pretty good enough to get us blasted. I hope we can stay coherent throughout the whole time. So Ryan, what do we have here now? What are we looking at?
So
Tell us a little bit about this.
This is our 3rd year round one. This is called Cherry Lee Lewis. It is a cherry mead. It's a combination of both sweet and tart cherries. It's going to be very tart cherry forward in the taste.
I'm gonna get another glass.
There you go.
Tasting glass. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Just a little bit. I think you've been serving it. That's good enough. That's good. We gotta get through some of these. Cheers. All right, what do we have here? And I've had some of these. Again, you know, I stick to certain kinds now. Now that I've kind of picked my favorites, if you will.
Yeah. So Cherry Lee Lewis, you'll get that big tart Monterey cherries in the taste.
Is this also 12%?
12% again. Yep. This is one of the sweeter year-round ones that we do. That cherry just brings out a little bit more sweetness. It goes really well with any type of chicken. I love it with hot wings. It's awesome with that. Yeah, any type of cooking that I do, I'll typically use this to cook with.
You can use this to make some sauces as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can totally see it. Hey Ryan, what makes Rebel Hive, now that I know there's meat exists, right? And there are other meadery out there, even though I haven't met many, what makes Rebel Hive different? You know, what about your process and you know, what you guys are doing and the range of products that you guys have?
Yeah, so we track everything from start to finish, all the way down from the type of honey that we get. We get high quality honey to start with. Most of the stuff I like working with is orange blossom honey. And then in the fermentation process, I'm constantly checking oxygen levels, especially at the start of fermentation, the amount of yeast that we add, excuse me, the amount of yeast that we start with, that's really important. The nutrients that we add. So one of the downsides to honey is that it doesn't have a lot of nutrients. So we have to actually add nutrients to keep the yeast healthy. As opposed to
grapes?
As opposed to beer and sometimes grapes.
Okay, grapes have more nutrients than honey.
Yeah, and definitely grain. So anytime someone's making beer, they're not any nutrients. When we add the yeast, remember that yeast is a living organism. It's single cell, so it's super basic, but it's still alive. So it has to take in food and releases alcohol in our case. So in order to do that process well, we have to take care of the yeast all along the journey. And then when it's done fermenting, we do filter it. I find that filtering takes off any of the harsh edges to it and gives us a nice clean product. And then finally, I balance it at the very end. So I typically add an acid back to it. Usually we use like an acid mix, but there's three main acids that people use. And sometimes I'll play around with those as well. Again, most grapes have those acids naturally in it. Honey is pretty lacking on that, so I'll add that back in just to get the taste a little bit better. So you'll get a nice brightness on your tongue as you're drinking it.
What's your favorite out of the three that we've drank so far? I think it's three, right?
Yes. Out of the three, out of the three that we drank right now. Huh? Yeah, respect your elders is my go-to. Yep.
I don't know, I'm really liking this. I think the more you drink, the better things look afterwards. So
everything will taste good.
I'm liking these.
The cherry actually took over for us this year. This is our top seller this year. So
I didn't know that. I liked it.
Yep. This has been our number one at markets as well as wholesale. So this is one of our best sellers now.
Yep. Yeah, I think we got the right portion too, because the other ones were a little bit. Guys, look for these in your local supermarket, some of the other places. I know the vision for Rebel Hive, being a client of ours, is to spread the awareness of the product, educate a lot more, and eventually have it throughout the entire state of Pennsylvania, and then nationwide and globally as well. So Ryan has shared those visions with me. I'm a close consultant for his company and what they do. And we're going to talk about some of the cool things that we have coming up, some of the things that we can talk about regarding the company and its direction.
If I could jump on that too, a huge help is to go to your local grocery store or bar and restaurant and ask for mead, see if they have any, and if they don't, ask them why they don't have Rebel Hive yet. Tell them that you want to buy it, because I can go in and try to sell to them all day, but when customers start asking for it, that's how you actually get it in the door. So anytime you ask for mead, just keep bringing it up, and places are getting on board.
I think first we got to get a lot of people to taste this stuff, because if people don't know how good this is until they drink it, until they start having it, especially, like I say, the wide range. You can go from a sweet, semi-sweet, semi-dry, to to a full dry liquor. I mean, and even to a sparkling. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, getting people to taste. And as I've told you before, part of our plan is to also bring more awareness to the Hispanic and Latin American markets. I haven't met many people who even know what mead is. Mm-hmm. In fact, I learned what mead was and how to say it in Spanish. Yeah. Hidromiel. Esto se llama hidromiel. I feel like once you bring that awareness and that taste, people will be asking for this product. Yeah, once they get acclimated, they get to taste it, because they don't know what they're missing until they taste it.
And one of the other myths that we run into as well is that all mead tastes the same. We get people all the time that we say, "Do you want to try mead?" And they say, "I don't like it." And I say, "Okay, where did you try it from?" And it's there's a list that I could go down.
There's resistance even getting people who have tried it before, because they think that
they've had it bad at one place.
Yeah, they think, it's mead. It's like it's moonshine, and it's just gonna taste.
And I'll say mead is kind of where the craft beer was back in the '80s. So it's just starting to take off now. Most of the market is bad. I'll say that. I don't want to put down our own product, but if you haven't tried Rebel Hive, try it. I often say to people, "Have you had a bad cheeseburger? Have you had bad pizza? Did that make you stop eating cheeseburgers?"
Have you had bad sex?
Yeah, there you go. Right. So that doesn't make you stop, right? So, so it's the same here. Come back, try our stuff. Again, any of our farmers markets, free samples. So there's no, nothing to lose by that.
Ryan, this is kind of fun, man. I mean, this is the first time I've recorded a tasting, and I'm feeling nice right about now.
Time for the next bottle.
What's coming up next? What do we have coming?
All right, so next one's going to be one of our newly released ones. It's one of our monthly ones we do every year. And let me grab it.